Hi yogis, Emmy here. I've heard a few people say that the splits is their New Year's resolution or it's their lifelong goal. And I just wanted to tell you that the splits is not something that you particularly need a yoga studio for. It's not something that you need to pay a lot of money to learn or to take a lot of time to do. It's something that you need a lot of consistency to do. You know, when your muscles are tight, it's harder to get down into the splits. It's a difficult thing, but there's something called habit stacking that works wonderfully for the splits. It's where you take a habit, like maybe watching TV, maybe your daily moment to read a book, and you can just choose to do that on the ground instead of on the couch or your bed. You just sit down on the floor. And we'll do it together today. Take your legs out wide. Try to sit tall in this posture. And then just walk your hands forward. Now this is the part where it gets a little boring. So grab your book. And you can open it up and just read. And hold this posture for a long time. You know, the consistency of doing this maybe 3 times a week or 5 times a week, and just leaning into wherever you feel the sensation that's not too much. You know, you want to feel it, but you don't want it to hurt. So maybe you're up here, and that's fine. Just sit with your spine straight, your legs out. And then eventually, after time, maybe next week you'll be a little further, or the following week you'll be further. Depending on how often you practice this, the more likely it will open up your muscles and relax them and stretch your hamstrings. So if you're sitting here with me today and you have a good book that you love, I love it if you would comment and let me know what book you're reading, because I actually love book recommendations. I'm reading Personality Isn't Permanent by Benjamin Hardy. It's about breaking free from self-limiting beliefs and rewriting your story. It's the belief that you are not a certain person or a certain personality, but that you really can create your own story and your own personality by just choosing to believe in it. It's actually a really cool book. It's written really well so far. I'm very excited to finish that one. But if you're reading a book, let me know what it is. Maybe you like scary stories or self-help books, maybe some romance. Or maybe you're watching a TV show. People always talk about these serial killer Netflix shows, or, you know, the American classic like Kardashians or Housewives. Maybe you like to see a little drama in your life, so you watch it. I tend to watch Korean dramas with my husband at night. So you can actually sit down on your bed or the floor and binge watch your drama. Just take 15 minutes of stretching. All right, we're almost at the 5-minute mark. So go ahead and walk your hands towards one side, one of your legs. And remember, you want to base this off of your own sensations. So if you feel too much, you don't want to tear a muscle. You want to stay where you're at, and then progressively, maybe walk your hands closer over time. It could be a couple minutes into a stretch, or it could be after 2 weeks of stretching this. Eventually, you want to just continue to push your limits. Now that I've shifted positions, this is where you can grab your book again, open it back up, and just get into your story. Or you could turn your gaze to your TV. Multitasking this definitely takes the mundane out of it. When you do a myofascial release practice, where you're releasing the fascia, healing the muscles, and getting deeper into stretch, it can be really boring. So taking the boring out of it, adding in a show, adding in a book, sipping your coffee, texting your friends, calling your mom, whatever it might be, that will really help make it a more doable practice. Go ahead and walk your arms to the opposite leg, by the way. Remember to stay where it feels best in your body. Yoga really is about you and your practice and your sensations that you're feeling. So you do want to stay somewhere that feels good in your body. All right, let's walk our hands back to center. See if maybe you can get a little deeper in this forward stretch. Remember, accepting where you're at is a wonderful thing. And eventually, with the consistency, you will get deeper into it. This is not a competition with anyone. Accept your past self. The only person you should compare to is what you were yesterday or a week ago. You know, I also want to mention that while yes, watching my videos is great, the time, the counts, the video counts are wonderful because that helps my YouTube channel grow. But once you get the hang of these very few yoga postures, I recommend just doing it without me. Don't listen to me ramble. You don't need me to walk you through this. You can just do this by yourself with your own phone, Instagram, book, TV. Just do it on your own. Just have fun with it. Throw it in your day. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be in order. All right, let's walk the hands up closer to the body. Look at your leg at the front of your mat. Go ahead and bend that knee and turn towards the front of your mat. We're just going to shift into pigeon pose. So take that back leg and really make sure that your knee is tucked under. You might want to adjust your foot closer to your body if you need to. Remember that if your hips are really tight and maybe you're up higher, that's totally fine. Over time, holding this posture will get you down lowered, will open your hips and create that flexibility. So lift your chest, turn your gaze up towards the sky for a moment, and then you can walk your hands forward and just stop wherever you feel the sensation at its best for your body. Maybe you want to stay up high, or maybe you want to walk your hands forward and sink into this. Again, turn your gaze to your book at this moment. We'll hold this for a while. Or you can turn your gaze towards the TV, whatever it is that you want to distract yourself with. Grab it. right, I think that is enough. So go ahead and take your hands, press them into the mat if they weren't already there. Now I'm just going to offer the chance of shifting into the splits. Just take your front foot, scoot it forward a little, and see if you can lift your hips up into a low lunge of sorts and slide your foot forward. Keep in mind to listen to the sensations of your body. If you're up higher, if your front leg is bent, that's perfectly fine. Eventually over time you can scoot it forward and forward all the way into the splits. You can rock back and forth once you get here. Maybe point your toes and flex them. Play with the sensations that you're feeling. And when you're ready to release, go ahead and just release. Let's shift towards the back of the mat. You can just take that back knee, tuck it under, bend that front knee, bring your heel in closer to the body if you need it, or further out front. Remember that while you're in pigeon pose, you can hold your weight up if you need to, if your hips are not there. Eventually, lower your hips down towards the mat. Press into your leg, lifting your chest, turning your gaze up and getting a stretch. Right now, you're stretching the front of your body as well as your hip. And if you would like, you can walk your hands forward, noticing the sensation, stopping when it feels too much, maybe going back a little if you need to. Eventually, walking your hands forward and sinking down over time. There's no rush when it comes to the splits. If you rush, you risk a muscle tear. So really just stay where your body is asking to stay and hold it. Grab your book, grab your phone, watch your TV, play with your kids if they're home, and just sit. Sit with the sensations. For the sake of the time constraint today, I'm going to offer pushing into your splits now. But if you're at home and you're doing this without my video, feel free to stay as long as you want. If you want to sit and just read until the end of the chapter or something, keep going. The longer you hold this, the better. All right, push yourself up. Now you can take your foot in front of you and kind of kick it towards the front. Lift up your hips into a half splits or a low lunge. And eventually you can straighten out your leg, shifting your foot forward into the splits, sinking down lower. Maybe you want to rock your hips back and forward and really work it. Listen to your body and come out of it whenever you need to. All right, thanks for practicing with me today. I hope you get your splits that you've been wanting to work on. Remember that consistency is key, and habit stacking will definitely help you. So if you do it while you're doing something else, such as playing with your kids, playing on your phone, watching TV, or reading a book, that would literally be the best option. Don't watch me, just do it by yourself. Stretch those legs every day, 3 times a week or 5 times a week, and you'll get there.